Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is many a true nerd, welcome to WorldBox, a god game in the truest sense of the word. Because when you play most god games, you start off with a handful of people and the game says, okay, if you're nice to them, they'll pray to you, then you'll get god points, you can spend them building more houses, so there'll be more people, and then there'll be more prayers, and then you'll get stronger and stronger. No, that's not what being god's all about, that's just a freelance builder with extra steps. Being God is about being omnipotent, being able to create and destroy, and WorldBox gets that, damn it! So let's say I want that to be a person. I don't need to be a nice benevolent god, and set them up all properly, with houses or whatever. I just say, boom, there's now a person, and maybe I want there to be a bear next to that person. And we'll just pop the bear down. Okay, so the bear is now going to eat the person. Now there's not a person. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Maybe I decide, yes, actually, this bear, by killing the one and only human, has committed a terrible, terrible sin. And now that bear is, well, presumably it's dead. Like, I don't see a corpse, probably because it was vaporized. And that's not even the most powerful thing. Alright, the most powerful thing would actually be dropping the Tsar bomber. Yeah, it's done a lot more damage to the world, including several islands over. So, yes, I can just do that. There's no cost, there's no mana, there's no prayer points or anything. I'm just God, I can just do what I want. And, in particular, I can't help but notice, there are 4 distinct classes of people you can spawn into the world. The humans, the elves, the orcs, and the dwarves. And that makes me wonder, if you put all 4 of them onto a single map, which naturally has limited resources, who ultimately comes out on top? So what I've done is I've spawned the biggest map you're allowed to spawn, and I've made some slight adjustments so each group can spawn in each corner. So, for example, up here in the top left, humanity, they like, basic grassland, all the rest of it. So, this lovely island right here, this will be a good starting point for them. Meanwhile, over here, orcs, they like the weather a bit hotter. Then, there are the dwarves. They're going to start down here, because they are miners. So, there's a whole bunch of mountains for them to do mining in. And down in the bottom left, elves like trees, so I've given them a great big forest to work with. So, there's a whole bunch of islands for everybody to expand onto. They'll need to work up to that, though, because at the start of the game, they won't know what boats are. Everybody needs to, do their own research. I don't get involved in that, that's their business. But. Here's the trick, and the flashpoint, just in case anyone wasn't keen enough on going to war. So, everyone starts off with some resources on their island. Tiny bit of stone, tiny bit of ore, maybe even a bit of gold if they're lucky. But it's gonna run out sooner or later, so I have created this giant central island. This island is covered in stone, ore, and in the centre of the enchanted forest, the world's biggest supply of gold. Eventually, the humans are going to try and settle over here, and the orcs, and the dwarves, and the elves, and they're all going to want the gold. So I'd say everybody gets to start off with 8 people. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Magnificent. Then we will go down to the elves on their little forest haven over here. So they can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Spectacular. Over to the dwarves. Start them right by the mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then finally the... Wait, who did I just spawn? Okay, I'm not sure, but fortunately I'm God, and this is why we have the life eraser. There we go, situation resolved, just to make sure we're very confident we're putting the right people down. So, yes, dwarves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that's better, they seem more dwarfy to me. Right there, yes, miners, spectacular. Meaning, finally, we can go over to the orcs, over on their island right here. Time is allowed to begin, and immediately, yes indeed, people have started setting up villages, kingdoms, all sorts. And let's just see, presumably, there we go. They're starting to jump into life here. Meanwhile, you want to live inside the mountain, lardy flipping da. Oh no, it's immediately started breaking apart. This was not expected at all. Okay, I would have thought when there were only 8 people in the world, they might want to stick together. But no. Someone's gone over here and started their own village, and this person has decided they want their own village too. Unfortunately, this village up here, for the humans, they've got 6 people. So let's do some data visualization in particular. Yes, the village layer. This basically shows the range of influence that each territory possesses, because it's only allowed to build in and harvest from areas it controls. So these guys are now, let's just zoom in on the elves over here. They're just doing their own thing. This guy just went, chopped down a tree, brought the wood back to his tent. He'll use that to potentially build a better house sooner or later. And straight away, we're starting to see expansion. Because, yes, there is proper pairing and breeding going on. And as I suspected, yes, the Ursuruk Empire and the Great Iworth are really going to struggle against the Waka. Because the Waka have, as I pointed out, more than one person. So I feel like, yes, Empire might be a bit ambitious. Because sooner or later, this guy's going to die of old age. In fact, we can just zoom in. It's Will! His name's Will. And apparently he really likes bread. And right now his mood is normal. His culture is to stay in. And he is, yes, created an empire of one. So Will might not necessarily be doing so hot. Actually, no. The Waka, meanwhile, doing much better. Let's just check in with how they're doing. Because in particular, if we go over to the light bulb, yes, they're starting to learn. Right now, they don't know anything, but they're learning. Very slowly, they're picking things up. And soon, they're going to learn how basic wooden houses work, which is going to be much nicer than a tent. So everybody's going to start advancing, but the tech tree is a bit varied and all over the place. So as a result of that, yes, some people might get better at war, others at exploration, or mining, or agriculture. But one thing in particular is very important indeed, and that is boats. They've got to learn how boats work, or they're trapped on their starting islands. And, okay, hang on. Apparently we've just picked up a king. Someone just picked up a new ruler. Hang about. Ah, here we go. It's the Arg, the Orcs. They were the first to have a king. So, yes indeed, territories can end up having rulers. That might be tied to politics. Hang about it. Let's see if we can figure out why they have a king when nobody else did. Well, they've learned how houses work, so possibly that means you can elect a king, and it might well be the first person who had a house. It's hard to say. But yes, we can just check the list of kingdoms, check out the king. And the king, he's a bit of a military lad. So it's entirely possible that, yes, this territory that now has a militaristic king and an heir too, presumably his son. Yeah, I've got bad news for Gonatop down here, who seem to be significantly further behind, potentially. They have, they're still working on houses. They've already fallen behind science-wise, just because they don't have as many people. I'm a bit worried about the dwarves here, because they appear to just be chilling out inside a mountain, but not actually doing much. And this here is why I am God. So, I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of dwarves right here. All of you guys, just figure out your own thing. They've started a new society right there. You may notice, by the way, there's no music. Yes, there's just not. This game is in early access, and apparently such early access, music isn't a thing yet. So that might well be coming in the future. Who flipping knows? But yes, the dwarves, meanwhile, they've picked up their first king too in their biggest settlement. So maybe it's when you hit population 10 or whatnot. But yes, the human societies have distinct cultures as well. Now this is going to be a problem in particular for, yes, these cultures, because they're going to fall behind. These guys have already got culture spread speed 1, increases the speed with which this culture spreads. Okay, so there might be able to be, yes, just natural cultural osmosis, leading to a peaceful reintegration of these towns into a single empire. It's hard to flipping say, but yes, these would appear to be very similar cultures at the bare minimum. But yeah, you can see they're starting to diverge in different directions. So the elves over here, they're working towards a culture spread. However, the other elves, they're working on chopping down trees. So yes, we're already seeing divergences in culture and technological advancements. That's agriculture. Okay, it looks like you guys have invented farming. Which could potentially be a problem because... oh, these guys haven't invented farming. I feel like that's really bad news for you and your farms, because they've got more people than you, and a militarist, and don't have food. I've decided to shower these individuals with some free food. So, chickens. Congratulations, chickens now exist. I'm going to give everybody some chickens, so that it's fair, okay? Chickens just live in the world. If you need chickens, here you flipping go. They are delicious and also cute. And I tell you what, you can also have a handful of... oh, hang on, there's definitely... oh, bloody hell, I just gave these people dogs. And their response to being given dogs is to immediately murder all of the dogs. Okay. I mean, we've got some smiting options if you guys want smiting. I just gave unto you a dog. Is everyone going to just attack the dogs? Hang about. They would like dogs. Okay, so basically, everybody likes dogs with the exception of... oh, hang on. What just happened here? Is that the culture spread as opposed to... yes, okay. So, culture spreads at a different rate to kingdoms and village boundaries. That's an individual village. That's the entire kingdom if it contains more than one village, and that's the cultural spread, which might spread beyond the bounds of the kingdom or not have caught up yet. And if the kingdom out-expands its culture, that is potentially asking for trouble, isn't it? Because then people can just say, you know what, I'm going to be independent. That can happen. And I suspect there is a risk, if too many people set up their houses down here, they might decide to do precisely that. But I am very concerned about the possibility of elvish civil war, because you guys are out of trees. Like, trees are going to just occasionally re-sprout up, and I could give you some more, potentially. Am I feeling benevolent today? Am I a benevolent deity? I am slightly benevolent. Here, have some trees. So, yes, that's fine. You know what? You guys have some trees too. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be fair, damn it. Except, oh, hang on, I'm not being fair. Okay, everybody gets a few more trees. It started. The Woka have declared war. There is now a war on right now. And as a result of that, they've trained 11 soldiers up and they're going in. So yes, they have declared war on both the territories simultaneously, or those guys allied. It's hard to say. So, okay, there we go. The Woka are moving in, and they're taking out the basic villagers. So, unfortunately, yes, the Great Eyewolf are going to start losing people fast. Villagers can fight back, but how effective they're going to be is questionable in the long run. Then again, actually, population is still looking somewhat stable. Oh, okay, it's not going that well, because I can't help but notice while we were paying attention to that, the Great Empire of Will the Hermit has just collapsed. The army went in there, burnt down one of their houses, they've surrendered, and they have just been integrated completely. But that doesn't mean it's over for them, because on the culture map, they still control, 26 people who are part of this culture, and they might in theory decide, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Actually, this is interesting. The to-stay-in culture of Will has expanded over here. Now, that's territory that, yes, militarily belongs to the Great Ewaf, but culturally isn't theirs anymore. So that could mean they want to switch sides, declare independence, all sorts of business. The Great Will might yet return. Okay, the Great Will's not going to return, because apparently that's what, caused the surrender. Will was murdered by the Woka troops. There's also war down on the Elvish Isles. Okay, we knew this was coming. It was the Great Dora attacking the Isona brothers. This is, yes, just a one-on-one. Now, check culture, because this is important right here. The culture level is, you guys know about swords, and yes, your culture gain is 2.5. You guys do not know about swords. There it goes. The Woka are now the only humans standing. The entire area has been combined into one. Which, while it puts the humans behind a lot for now, it might mean in the long run they've got an advantage, because humanity is the first empire to have unified. Every human is now part of a single empire. And that might work in their favour, because, yeah, now they don't have a civil war to come. The elves are doing theirs right now. The orcs, it feels like a matter of time. Here it comes. The Arg have declared war on the Ing. Is that your king, by any chance? Oh, the king is coming in. The king is now just coming in. He's coming in to kick ass and take names. The king is actually on the front lines right now. The king is defending his troops or possibly invading. Hang on, which king is that? I don't know which king that is. That may be an invading king, I think. Oh, that was it. I think the king just slew the other king. And oh, the elves are in a really good position. Their civil war ended way faster than, yes, the human civil war. So their population is now significantly ahead. Okay, the Orcish war seems to be going about the same, which is anyone who goes into the other territory immediately dies. However, interesting alternative approach over here in the dwarf territory. One side is building up a massive army, and the other side has got very few troops, like, at all. Yeah, 11 versus 27. When they march, it's pretty much over for their competitors. So these guys are going to win with a massive... Oh, are they moving out? Well, somebody's moving out. Why are you guys not attacking, by the way? I feel like you guys should be attacking at some point. I've decided to help this war along just a little bit by giving them a bit of a bridge, if you like. So just a very small bridge, and oh, Arg and Eeg just made peace. So okay, the human and elves have got their unification war out of the way. The orcs, their war was fought to a standstill. So okay, that's very interesting. Yes, guys, there's now just a path between your two territories. So if you'd like to use that to, like, invade each other, there we go. I figured they might want to do that. So here we go. The armies are now moving in against each other. Light pink versus a darker fuchsia. Both are excellent colours, but at this point, yes, this is probably going to be a slaughter. The village of Kaor is just going to move in, annihilate the army, and annex their opponent. So that there is... Oh! Okay, that's why fires start. They literally toss flaming brands on the ground and start fires. So I feel like at this point, yes, this is going to be an absolute slaughter. I think their king is around here somewhere. Yes, their king is going to be assassinated. There we go. The king has been destroyed right there. Oh, and speak of the flipping devil. Boats are coming in. Humanity's working on it. Or to be precise, yes, the largest single cultural majority of humanity is working on it right now. And there it is. Docks have been produced and humanity is now rapidly heading towards transport boats. So, have you guys seriously just built all your docks? Okay. Luckily for you, stupid bastards, I am a benevolent god, and I'm going to make you a way out. Okay, everybody get off this bit of land, because I'm about to sink it into the ocean, okay? Oh, flip, there it is. There is now a boat out in the world, and it is a big, huge, ocean-going vessel. There's another one right there. But there's also one other important question right here, which is, which of the... Oh, is there a... There appears to be a major war going on right now. I may have missed a small war that's occurring at the moment. And yes, you guys went back to war. How are you doing in that war, by the way? 40 troops versus 2. Oh, and crucially, there it is. The Woka have decided to head over to the west. And there it is, the village of Gurksk, with 7 people in it and rising, is now down. It's going to expand fast because these guys have got space, materials, all sorts. Now that is a huge, huge moment, and it's going to lead to humanity. Yeah, the population is going to expand very, very, very fast indeed. And meanwhile, the armies are... Oh, the armies are finally meeting over here, and it looks like there are definitely people dying, houses being torn down. Do you guys have... You guys don't have an army. You guys do. So it took 2 wars, but it looks to me like the, yes, unification of the orcs is barely moments away. Yeah, there it is. The kingdom is gone. Arg now controls 353 orcs. So, population-wise, they are behind, and indeed, this war ended too. So, okay. There is now a single kingdom for each of the races. However, population is very uneven. The dwarves are not looking in good shape. Like, at all. However, the big thing now is humanity is expanding out in the world. And the elves are only just starting to get on that train. I've decided, as they are so far behind, I'm going to grant a boon to, yes, the dwarfish population. I'm going to give them a bridge to the next island over. Okay, there you go, lads. So that is a giant pile of trees, materials, etc. They can have a slightly larger... In fact, actually, if anything, they had 2 smaller starting islands. Should have actually kept an eye on that. But, oh, blimey. Humanity is expanding fast, but... Okay, crucially, this... Oh, it's happened! It's flipping happened! Okay, so a succession crisis has occurred in the human world. Right now, this is big news, some of the biggest news we've seen in some time. The Woka have seen an uprising. Their old king died, and a new one came in, not a militarist, this one was a diplomat, and straight away, 157 people have said, wow, we are life in the darkness, bloody emo empire, gotcha. And they've got themselves an administrator as their leader. They've got 55 troops ready to defend themselves. The Woka have got 65, so... Okay, who's doing better in terms of military? Will the Hermit lives on, and he is getting good at weapons, armor, all the rest of it. Now, you guys are... Oh, you guys are ahead. Tech-wise, these guys are... Oh, dear. Will's culture is very far behind. So, okay. If these guys want to push the issue, they could do it. Okay, the Empire of the Greater Pure is not going to be able to stand against the Woka. The Woka have the troops, the technology, and the capacity to expand, because they're expanding like crazy right now. This territory already up to 44. This is going to be the fastest growing settlement in the entire world at the moment. There is also the beginning of settlement on this island over here. At this point, the Woka are... Oh, but the Great Ipua are also expanding. If they can lock down this island, that would be highly beneficial to their chances of survival. The dwarves have just actually dropped troops into the territory of the elves. Now, their armies are massively out of position right now. They are loading up their troops into a boat to get home, but there's about to be... this is gonna hurt. Oh, but here comes the counter-invasion. The elves have decided rather than dealing with that raid, they're just going to counter-invade with their entire bloody army, and they are burning territory down on the lovely area I gifted to them. So, yeah, this is only doing so much. It's just a handful of raiders. This is a much, much more terrifying attack right here. The air is about to be flipping slaughtered right there. Dear flipping dear. And a village has been taken out. This is now just abandoned territory. And their king is not too far away. The army of the elves is just piling in. I mean, well done. You guys have got some nice houses. But that is not going to help you. The king is running. The king is running. The dwarves do not have the population to be losing this many people this fast. This is a major, invasion. The elves have the single largest army in the world, and this might be the first kill. Yes, what's left of the army of the dwarves has now been cornered, and the question is actually who's ahead technologically right now. So you guys have got yourselves, okay, basic swords, no armor. You've been working on other stuff instead. These guys instead have got themselves... Okay, they've got bows, which is important if you're an elf, I'll give ya. Embarrassing stuff for the dwarves there. A huge, catastrophic loss for them. Like, half their territory and maybe a third of their entire population just died. Oh, but here come the humans. That's humans right there. The Great Adawera are now at war with the Woka, who have dropped off a, admittedly, very small little group of people by the looks of it. But, okay, it was only a matter of time. The Woka are, well, maybe the most powerful empire after the Great Adawera. So, okay, the Adawera are doing well, but this was only a small little inconvenience. Except, hang on, are you guys trapped on a small island where no one can get you? No, you can definitely, yes, access the rest of it. Oh, blimey, what's this? Okay, the dwarves have made peace with the Adawera, because the Adawera have now got bigger problems. In particular, yes, reinforcements just arrived. This is becoming a bigger and bigger deal. At this point, these guys have not been dealt with yet, and more are coming in. So, okay. How big is the Woka force? Only 28. They have just sent a significant force down here, but... yeah, next to the Adawera forces, this is... this feels like this should be the game of the elves. It's just... oh, hang on. They have started expanding. I was about to say they're just not expanding for some reason, but they are. And they're expanding north towards humanity. Humanity expanding south towards them. So, the Elvish armies have made it home. They are right now just swinging about. And seriously, I'm starting to wonder whether they might be... okay, I think possibly these guys are stuck in an area where no one can get to them. Seriously, what the flip is... okay, I'm going to use the life eraser. There we go. And, well, there's a bit of fire going on right now. I feel like I should sort that out. That was my fault. Uh-oh. I think the Adawera are, yes, suiting up for some revenge. Their swan boat's going to kick ass and take names. Oh, and things go from bad to worse for the great emo empire of the Greater Pure. They are now at war with the Woka, and it's hard to see how they're going to be able to stand up to that in the long run. Oh, and here's a surprise. I don't know what the Woka just gave to the Adawera, but a massive Elvish landing just took place in one of the colonies of the Woka, which was immediately followed by peace. So, I feel like some backstage stuff was done there, potentially. You guys are lucky the Great Adawera right now are being headed by a diplomat, because anyone else would have just said, actually, this island's mine now. And the situation gets even worse for the Woka. They have had themselves a rebellion. A new kingdom, Valba, population 67, has just been founded. There's been more kingdoms. Oh, oh, the Woka are collapsing. Their entire new continent, well, most of it anyway, just wandered off. And this new kingdom is, it's huge. We use our spear in battle. They're not good at slogans, though. I mean, come on. Come on, the people of will. This is, honestly, I could be tempted to just slightly... oh, no, a fire! A fire's broken out! Oh, no. Just one of those flaming rainstorms that happen sometimes. You just never know when that's gonna happen. And also just oh no, it's one of those heat rays that burns down all your crops so you've got no food. It just happens sometimes. There's not much you can do about that. Okay, I'm slightly on Team of Pure. They've got a massive fountain with a statue. Okay, so these guys, well, not anymore. Not anymore, they don't! Okay, it's still there, but now it's not as pretty. Okay, I feel like at this point I've interfered enough in human affairs. In fact, okay. For the sake of fairness, I'm going to also bomb the elves and the dwarves. and also the orcs. Okay, now it's fair. And also, the Aduera have gone back to war with the dwarves. Last time that happened, they absolutely kicked their asses, and they've definitely got the largest army going. But then again, the dwarves are not bad. They've got a good-sized army, so keep an eye out on the boats, see what's going on, because... oh, hang on. We have got the first landfall on the central island that is filled with gold. Oh, this is very exciting. If the elves make it to the gold, I don't know what happens, but presumably they end up rich and, like, win for some reason. Gold's got to be good. Oh, they did it, the magnificent bastards! The Great Pure are now the biggest human empire. And meanwhile, down south, a big old pile of elves have just been dropped off in dwarf territory. They are just doing a bit of damage. I think that's a pretty small raiding party. Yes, the armies of the dwarves are well out of position in the north, probably trying to defend themselves against potential incursions by the Arg. Though, seriously, the orcs still haven't expanded, like, at all. So at some point I'm going to start feeling bad for them. And, okay, you know what? I have helped out other people. I'm going to give you a bridge to this island. Alright, you're welcome. And, oh, bloody hell, I think they've realised that's there. And the Elvish army is still just doing catastrophic damage to the dwarves right now. They can't get their troops home because where are the boats? Is it possible that, yes, there's been an attack on their navy? Because I don't see boats marked with the pink flag anywhere. Oh no, I have found where the dwarves are. They've just sent a huge number of troops to assassinate the Promised Land. So, okay, now they're just here on this completely empty continent. So, right, there's been a breakaway. There's been a massive breakaway. I mean, you gotta give it to the elves. They have not had a single breakaway yet. The humans have just constantly been falling apart and putting themselves back together. But not the Great Aduia. Alright, they've held it together nicely and now they are slaughtering the bloody dwarves. And yes, the downside of that war is, weirdly enough, now the only people on ludicrously nice island with the giant pile of gold is the dwarves, who have, like, no troops and no population, but they have secured the nicest island in the world. Oh, and a highly controversial move here. The elves have settled north of where the dwarves are, but that is now an independent dwarf kingdom, just chilling out by itself on the doorstep of the elves. That's ballsy, and I feel like that's not going to go well. Still, oh, the first ever breakaway from the elves right there, but honestly, it's a tiny one. And the entire nation is built around the idea that we love beer. So, good lads, right there. The Woka, meanwhile, in desperate trouble. The Greater Pure doing very, very well indeed. I believe the Woka are right now at war with the Greater Pure. And still not a single boat has actually done any, you know, carrying people on behalf of the orcs. Now, they do have boats. They just refuse to do anything with them. Oh, never mind, we've had significantly greater breakaways. When there is actually a king dying, that seems to be the moment that things go wrong. So, the Great Nardi with 87 troops, this could be what humanity has been waiting for. Alright, if the Greater Pure can reunify humanity, just knock out the Woka, knock out the Vub, and stay at peace with the Peas Kingdom, they might have a run at Wonderful Island, because these dwarves ain't doing anything to stop them. The Aduera are not in the best position. Meanwhile, the dwarves have incredibly managed to retake back their entire homeland for the third bloody time. But, okay. I feel like it might be time to potentially start hooking some empires together, just to facilitate the Battle Royale kicking off a bit more, because the Arg just are not capable of using boats, and I don't know whether that's a thing pertaining to their race, but whatever's happening, congratulations, guys. There are now sandbanks linking you two together, And then we can do the same deal with, yes, the elves being connected to the dwarvish kingdoms. What happens is, yes, the dwarves immediately declare war on the Great Nardi, because they've got access to them. Meanwhile, the elvish army just piles in and absolutely flipping dog piles them. The king of the Rocky Gore Hadum is dead, but I think that's actually coincidence. I'm not sure I actually killed him. I think it was just old age. Ipua is trying to take out the Peace Kingdoms. Honestly, that's going to be a difficult landing, but they're welcome to try. Oh, but saints be praised! It's happened! The flipping orcs have finally sent someone to an island to set up a new territory. And then they immediately also attacked the Woka. Now, the Woka have got troops. The question is, who's going to win that fight in the long run? Right now, let's just slow down time. This could be a pretty big confrontation. Now, the Woka have got a choke point and archers. And when you put those two things together, it doesn't take a tactical genius to realise they've got a pretty big advantage. The army of the orcs, so keen to jump into combat, is being annihilated before they could even do anything. Right now, this is an absolute disaster. It's... oh, blimey. Has the Woka just cocking fallen apart? These are humans, right? Yep, those are humans. The Woka can't even hold what they've got at this point. The Woka are on their way out. Income. I mean, honestly, their rebellion makes sense. I think they saw the writing was on the wall for the Woka. The Woka are just being absolutely swarmed by the Ipua, and that's it. Woka's gone. Ipua now have a population approaching 900. And the elves have... they've locked down the gold. I mean, that could be how they win. Depending on how valuable this gold is, that could be how they bloody win. Adawera have got gold too. No! Okay, so I think these guys realised they were sitting on the gold, because they've just decided, no, I'll be having that. And the two biggest kingdoms in the world just went to war. Peas and the Great Ipua are back at war again. I'm a god who enjoys a show, damn it. We're going to have a nice wide bridge right here. Okay, I've knocked down some stuff either side, so we're going to see who actually gets in first. Where are the armies? There's an army gathering over here. And where's the armies of... where are the armies of peace? Hang on. Oh, they're right here. That's you, isn't it? Yes, they've actually got a presence on the Central Island. I'd forgotten about that. So they're piling troops in right now. There is a new king of Ipua. Over 1,000. I think that's the first time we've ever seen over 1,000. This guy is just in a normal mood. He's an administrator. So, okay, the last guy was a bit on the old side. Looks like there's been a small amount of... yeah, there's definitely been a small amount of skirmishing going on here, but not the biggest thing in the world. These aren't the main armies. The main armies are over here and trapped over here for now. I think that might be a big old pile of troops right there. Okay, the main Piesian forces have been dumped on the mainland. Ipua needs to win this. That's 148 troops versus 239. And it looks like they're coming in, to my mind, too. They're definitely nearby. This is the entire Ipurian army. And if they go in right now, they need to win. This is perhaps the fight that will decide the entire game. The Ipurians are piling in huge, huge numbers. The army is holding down south, meaning there's going to be a lot of damage done before anything else. So yeah, there's a lot of purple floating around over here. They're going to destroy a lot of territory, and potentially, even if nobody wins for certain, if they can destroy all this territory and secure the border along here, they might be able to lock down the north of the Piesian kingdoms. And honestly, that might be enough. That could be enough to make this effectively a win. This is looking, to my mind, very good for the Ipurians. 151 versus 146. Okay, it's not looking that good for them. I think they're being, yes, beaten back just by civilians, but it's still pretty even, and there's plenty of civilians here as well. Oh, blimey. That wasn't me. That was not me. Okay? Once again, not my fault. And then there is going to be chickens. There is going to be a reign of chickens, and scholars will spend many years trying to figure out why there was a reign of chickens immediately after the battle between Peas and Epure. Oh, I've missed some important stuff, by the way. Apparently the Great Adoera managed to beat back the Great Nardi, who are collapsing. You do have to say, though, despite the wars between Peas and the Great Epure, right now humanity has 2,000 people in the world. More than that, actually. Between the hegemony, the Capaga of Moon, between Valb, that's got to be probably about 2,500. And, yes, that's, Ogre, right? No, not Ogre, Orc. They're down to, like, yeah, 600 odd. The Dwarves are probably about the same. The Elves have only got maybe 1,000 in total. So, humanity is miles ahead. So, Epure is... Oh, no! I feel like there's been a problem, actually. So, I feel like the Woker are back. We love food. Okay, those guys should ally with the We Love Beer guys. They'd be a really powerful alliance. But, okay. I feel like, unfortunately, it's all going a bit wrong for Epure. They've still got, like, 900 people, which is really good, but unfortunately, the Peas Kingdoms are rapidly becoming the most powerful empire in the world, and if they just eat the rest of this island and then just go to war against these bastards, and they could, that's it. Right there, they've won. And I think they are, because Peas is actually at war with these guys right now. Who's actually attacking them at the moment? It's everybody. Everybody's murdering them. Basically, everyone's just dogpiling these guys right now. The dwarves and other elves and the Peas. So now it's just a question of who's going to actually, yes, get it when it all falls apart. They're just collapsing. Okay, so they've just given up at this point. The Peas have just moved in and burnt it all to the damn ground. There's nothing left at this point. They're going to lose everything. How on earth do you guys even still have this? I feel like, okay, you know what? I feel like you guys should not have this. Is it just because you've got this here fire? Okay, I've decided we're going to do a little bit of just gentle bombing to get rid of all of these guys. And seriously, how do you still technically own this territory? Because I feel like you shouldn't. Okay, we're going to need a bigger bomb. This is... Oh, that might have been too big. That was too big. Okay, so I may have tipped my hand slightly in that regard. A lot of people just died. No one will know. No one will know in just a second. Now we're just gonna put down some lovely grass. Right, and then we're gonna plant some lovely trees. And we're gonna put some stone and... I nuked the gold! I want to miss this, by the way. The Peas Kingdom actually ate Will's former homeland. Epure is now entirely on this little area over here, which is... Oh dear. Oh, poor Epure. Right, Peas is now in a dominant position. Okay, we may not have winners yet, but I think we've definitely got losers. The Orcs have catastrophically failed. Here we go, Giant Crabzilla. So we're just going to summon the Giant Crabzilla. So I now control the Giant Crabzilla. This is just a natural disaster. Natural disaster. Right there. Just take these guys. Okay, I've slightly destroyed the island, and now we just retreat, and nobody knows it was me. Magnificent. Oh, here's a fun one, by the way. COVID. We could just apparently just create COVID. So, alright. How about a plague? Just to, yes, get things interesting. So just a nice bit of plague for all you guys. Everybody gets the plague. Are they all, like, losing health and they're all going to drop dead simultaneously? And it's just going to be... Oh, I think that might be the case, actually. There's definitely some people dying in the world right now. Quite a few people dying, actually. The king of Arg, he died, and the king of Adoera, king of, I think, this might be more, oh, hang on, then these guys broke away to form the kingdom of, literally every king just died, and then healthy people became king, then, okay, we might need to slightly just sort that out a little bit. So how do we cure these people? Oh, removes diseases. Yes, okay. So you're all welcome. There we go. There we go. It turns out I'm a benevolent god. Oh, I thought of a use for the orcs, by the way, which is they're bloody useless and keep getting involved in dumb wars that don't really go anywhere and are completely technologically inept at dealing with the greater pure. So, as they can't be a contender on the world stage proper, how about zombie infection? Okay, so you guys are now zombies. These zombies have now got nowhere to go but slowly into Ipua. And Ipua has decided it is actually expanding into this territory. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, I wouldn't want to colonize this land, to be honest. No. I'll give them, though, despite my best attempts to basically, yes, entirely remove orcs from the map, some managed to escape and have set up this tiny territory, Ozurg. So good for them. And tragically, the Peace Kingdoms have actually collapsed, meaning once again the balance of power has shifted back in the favour of the elves, though they do admittedly only have 59 troops right now, on account of a war with the Arrows of Odil, a small force that has apparently done very well at just dealing with them, large population, small army. And yes, Peace has lost their island holdings to the independent nation of Egg. So no one's looking dominant right now. Oh, and blimey, it was going well, but the colonization efforts just collapsed in seconds because the Q have managed to successfully kick Ipua out of this entire side of the map. So Ipua is now looking flimsy, though. What the flip happened to Peace? I mean, you've got to say, the age of humanity would appear to be over at this point. Humans are split into tiny warring kingdoms. The great empires of old have collapsed. At this point, it's all up to the elves. If they could just build a competent army, they could walk this. As time moves on, I have tied all the kingdoms together by land. At this point, you can walk from Greater Pure over to the Central Island. Egg just collapsed. By the way, they just got dogpiled from every side. No one's actually taken the territory just yet. It appears to be mainly belonging to, yes, this breakaway group of elves. The dwarves are creeping in. You've got to say, after the collapse of the Arrows of Ophil, yeah, the dwarves were the ones who gained the most out of that. In theory, the dwarves could knock out the Great Adoera, and I would be amazed if the dwarves could make a comeback at this point. In fact, you know what? I think it's flipping go time, because I have a button that forces everybody to declare war. So, how about there we go! Everybody's now declared war on everybody. Let's cocky go, chaps. So, I think that's the, that's the Elvish army moving in. You can see them straight away just, yes, taking a lot of territory. They want to knock those damn dwarves back to their islands right there. Then we have got, I think Peas just died. Yeah, that's the end of Peas. Sorry, Peas. We will take out the remnants, the descendants of Woka. And meanwhile, oh dear, it would appear that Ipua is being annihilated by a giant army of elvish archers. Oh yeah, huge amount of fire being laid on the EQ for the time being. There's not much they're going to be able to do there. Bear in mind, sooner or later, the zombies are going to start showing up because there's still zombies down south. So the EQ are starting to absolutely collapse. Once they go down, the Pure are not going to be able to do much as a result of that. Dear flipping dear. Yes, so the keepers are eating a lot of territory, keep everybody nice and angry. Meanwhile, the dwarves and the elves are just slapping each other around, but neither wants to do a full-scale invasion yet. It's these guys who are really taking the initiative. And there we go, the keepers are now recolonizing this land. There is maybe some naval combat going on. I'm not 100% sure about that. If Pure is on its last flipping legs, their king, I think he's hiding in a mine. Yep, there she goes. We have lost the reawakened Woka, and at this point, I think Pure is very much under. Oh, bloody hell! That's one a hell of an army. Oh, this is it. The end of the kingdoms of men. If the kingdom of we cannot hold off against the unstoppable keeper forces here and now, it's the end of humanity. This is the last human faction. This is it, and they've just lost a big pile of land. In fact, this is the homeland of all of humanity. This is where it started. Also, I'm putting you guys down over here on warning. If you don't do something soon, I am just going to nuke your entire kingdoms for being boring. No, you had your chance, but you didn't do anything, so now this happens. Okay, so that's them taken care of. Good. Oh, they survived. Okay, maybe just one more. Okay, now they haven't survived. Okay, so that's that. I think it's now down to humans versus elves, and not you guys. No, you can just go. Okay, it's now humans versus elves. I may have got a bit more involved in this war than I was originally planning, but come on, guys, we need to figure out who's going to bloody win. So how about some nice plain soil right about here? Just, yeah, we're just gonna get rid of your boats, actually. Alright, let's slow this down here. Let's slow this down. The elves are coming in en masse. They are mostly armed with bows and arrows, and I think, unfortunately, the wee folk are not. They're melee, and I think they're being... Oh, no. I think the elves are just absolutely shredding the armies of men right now. I think this could be it. I think this could be it. They've still got 157, which is more than I was expecting, versus 316. I think the keepers have got it. Nothing will stand in their way. Here comes the main force of the army. Now, these guys do have a significant volume of archers too. It might be enough to repel them. There is a very large, significant army coming in. It's cocky Gandalf riding in on whatever his horse's name was. Honestly, I'm not actually that good at Lord of the Rings. But, yes, I think possibly... Oh, no, hang on, no, Gandalf's dead. You gotta give him credit, though. Humans are resilient. They can't win militarily, so they've been expanding to these islands down south. These ruined, shattered, radioactive rocks. They've just been desperately looking for anywhere they might be able to live. But unfortunately, I think this is the end. Humanity is basically out of troops. It is time for me to indicate that I've selected the elves as my... Did you just survive? Okay, he didn't do so well with the second one right there, and it is time to verify that God himself has chosen the elves as his favoured. Alright, congratulations, guys. You win, and no more kings. No more kings. There's no... You guys need to take the message, okay? I'm guessing that's the elvish king, not the... It doesn't actually say one way or the other. Okay, well, just in case... I think that was the Elvish King. But you know what? At least they've learnt a valuable lesson. I am a capricious god. Don't take me for granted. Speaking of which, let's just very quickly wrap up the business. Oh, no, wait. Did humanity just win on a technicality? Because they were the last one standing? I think humanity just won on a technicality. Okay, we're giving it to the elves anyway. On judges' points, it's going to the elves. But yes, this is a fun little toy. I've had a lovely time with this. It's just, you know, a big, dumb god's toy box. And some days, that's all I flipping want. Okay, this has been good. I'll keep an eye on this, because this is so early access, it doesn't even have music yet. If this goes interesting places, we'll have this again in future. Hopefully, you are looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been WorldBox. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
I've created a small problem in my road system, which is it's literally impossible for anyone to ever go back into town. And this building shall be where we produce our zebras. And this much taller building next door is naturally where we produce the giraffes. Does anyone remember how the road system went? I think it was something like this.